What's up, friends? Welcome into another episode of Trust the Tape. Happy Halloween, everybody. Good to see you. My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
That's Jeff Cavanaugh. That's me. I'm a guy with a little bitty YouTube page. I'm hanging out with my friend, former Cowboy scout, and the greatest drafter of all time, founder of Crown Global Media. Follow it on YouTube. He's on 105.3 The Fan. He's on Cowboys.com. He's the great Brian Broaddus.
Hey, Bri.
How you doing, Brian? Happy Halloween. Your costume
Happy
looks
Halloween.
great.
Yeah, I'm kind of going as an old crusty guy. That's what I'm going as right now. Yeah. I'm not the pop culture guy. What are we today? What are we dressed up as?
So I got on Amazon and I just had to find something. I typed in men's Halloween costume because I had to find something that would be here the next day because I couldn't risk having it come today and not have it in time for going to go see our buddy Orr tonight. I believe he's having a party. And so this is one that I found that said like 80s or 90s something, but I figure it's Ken from the Barbie movie. I figure I'm doing Ken.
Oh, okay. The Ken.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
I like the look. That was very 1970s Ken, I'd say. Yeah, you're looking good.
Thanks, man.
I think you nailed it.
Thanks, man. Shout out to everybody who is sitting here waiting in the chat before we even get started. We sure do appreciate you guys. Poor Ken here canceled a date to watch the Cowboys a couple weeks ago and then just flew to Denver and watched them get beat in person. He said, if they don't beat the Cardinals, I think I'm going to go insane. And that's unfortunate. So we'll just have to beat the Cardinals. I think yesterday I said I'm not going to pick them just because I'm mad at them.
Yeah.
I can't. I've seen too much really, really bad defense, and now I'm just convinced that Kyler Murray's going to go hang half 100, get to 9-0 at AT&T Stadium, and I'm going to start talking about draft prospects. So Cowboys, this is on you, okay? You can shut me up, and it's pretty much the roller coaster that I'm used to now. When they beat the Cardinals by 17, we'll come back and be like, all right, let's talk about the playoffs and how this thing can get. Look at this, we're getting better, right? And so that's where I am today. How are you feeling, Brian?
You know what? The Kyler Murray thing does scare me a little bit. He hasn't really played all that much this year. You know, it's been early in the season, and then all of a sudden he's missing games. And this offense can be very unique with their personnel. The thing that's interesting about them is
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, since James Conner and Benson went out, they've become really kind of like a heavy personnel team. And I don't know if that bodes particularly well, for the Cowboys, for them having to face, jumbo packages, six plus offensive linemen, the tight ends, the 13 personnel stuff. I mean, they're clearly, Arizona is a different team when they get in that jumbo package. They're a little bit of a yard better offensively when they do it. So yeah, it's going to be in a lot of ways. You're going to get a very heavy rotation of defensive linemen from them. They really play a lot of guys. I mean, I think they got 9 guys. I saw this the other day. They got 9 defensive linemen that played 130 plus snaps, which was, and then they don't give up any downfield passing. That's another thing defensively that you're going to have to deal with. So, heavy personnel on the offensive side. They got a tight end that's quality. You got to think about how you want to play against McBride. Harrison, I think Harrison's probably not the guy that we all thought he was going to be coming out of Ohio State, but there is some progress being made there. Their offensive line has got some issues on the right side, I think. So it's a game. It's like every week we kind of talk about who to attack, what you worry about. The game kind of plays out that way, and then Dallas is left either on the good side of things or on the bad side of things. I will say this: I think at home they do a really good job. The communication seems to be better. Offensively, they seem to be they're unstoppable at times. Arizona's going to have their hands full too, dealing with this Cowboy offense.
Some guy said he just traded for Marvin Harrison Jr. in fantasy because he's playing against our defense, and that may not be a bad play.
That's smart. That's smart GMing right there. That's smart GMing.
Part of Marvin Harrison at least putting up some numbers this year, to me anyway, is very much the if you had an NBA team and you didn't have any really good players, somebody's averaging 20 a night.
Yeah.
Somebody has to score the points.
Well, yeah.
And I'm with you.
think
I'm with you on Marvin Harrison. I think watching him, it does make me a little bit proud
Mhm.
to have been a Malik Neighbors wide receiver one
Oh,
guy.
that was a big discussion, and I know myself personally. I had the homer stop being an LSU homer guy. From the Ohio State crowd. That's cool. I mean,
Well, I think
I mean,
and trust the tape. Obviously, you guys probably know this by now. This is a Dallas Cowboys podcast, but it's an NFL draft podcast, but it's
yeah,
wherever our brains take us.
right.
I think it's very 2025 NFL, where I regret that I didn't have the nuts to say how many questions I had about Marvin Harrison Jr. because it's like as an 18 or 19-year-old or whatever, when you're putting up numbers in college, but when we do the production matters for a college player, and you had a bunch of it, and he's not a bad NFL player at all.
No, not at all.
But he lacks the suddenness of the 2025 NFL receiver that I really like. That was Malik Neighbors' superpower, was you can't stay in front of this dude. Like, you just can't do it. Marvin Harrison, I think, to me, in the NFL, what he is he's kind of just a go get the ball receiver. Like, he's kind of a balls in the air. He's a ball winner is what you would say. Like, he's not a separator. And for his size, I don't think he does a great job winning the line of scrimmage against physicality. Like, I think Marvin Harrison's got some NFL shortcomings, and I felt really bad for him a few weeks ago when it seemed like it was going to be, my God, is this just full on bust? But they got it going a little bit.
Well, Seattle, the Seattle game was not great for him, and that was a big issue. I'll tell you what, his dad, and I scouted his dad coming out of Syracuse. His dad was a shorter player. I think he had better quickness.
Oh, yeah.
Always played on the right side. It was so funny to watch him. Always at Indianapolis, played on the right side. Never moved him, never did anything with him.
Can I tell you this? We have to say this. Anytime the name comes up, I contractually obligate myself to say nothing but massive respect for the Harrison family.
Oh, yeah. There's no question. Yeah, absolutely.
Great respect. Nothing but respect.
Nothing but respect
to all Harrison family members and friends. Okay.
Marvin's a Philadelphia guy, and he's good.
And nothing but respect.
Nothing but respect.
Whatever part of Philly he's in, and for him,
nothing but respect. You're absolutely.
I don't know why
right.
his dad didn't teach him to, and maybe it's just body type.
His dad was that guy you just described. That little sound effect that you made. That was his dad. Man, his dad catch stuff on the move, and I think there's something to Jeff, the taller receiver. I think there's something to that.
I fear him. I fear him.
When you look at the taller guy, but another thing, like I said, I mentioned McBride. How Dallas plays McBride, the tight end out of the slot.
He's the dude.
That's where he's been really hurting teams. Is when they put him in the slot, he's really doing excellent work out of there. So, how Dallas, we saw last week where Jake Ferguson was, they carried him with a cornerback. Could you treat McBride the same way? I would not be opposed at all of some downs, maybe putting Bland over there on him and trying to, cover him that way, kind of treat him like I don't know if Dallas has anybody that can really take him out of the game. So that's a worry for me going into this one.
Boom, boom. No, I don't think that you have a Trey McBride good matchup guy. Once upon a time when he had two knees and the Cowboys weren't mad at him for whatever you won't tell me about, maybe Trayvon Diggs is the bigger, longer corner chasing him around. But I think Trey McBride is, and I'm not here to glaze the Cardinals. Okay. They're not special.
No.
They're not great.
Yeah.
But Trey McBride, I think, is one of the best tight ends in football. And I think he's fun to watch.
That was a good class of guys of good tight ends, but McBride was part of that group. And but the focus here is, I think Dallas has got some really good players themselves. I mean, unfortunately the record is what it is. I think you could kind of say the same thing about the Arizona Cardinals. I think their record is what it is, but they've they've got some good players offensively.
There is a guy with a question in the chat that we'll get to in a second. That's a super chat that I like. Will the Cowboys play more man, as in the super chat from William? If that's the case, would Bland travel with Harrison? Bland's been playing the slot, and now Harrison will line up in the slot, but he'll line up kind of everywhere. They'll line him up everywhere.
I don't think they'll travel. I don't think they'll travel him with. I really, really don't.
I don't think you need to, but also with the Cowboys defense, I really would not be surprised if just off of blown coverage or taking the ball away from guys on a sideline ball or some back shoulder stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if Marvin Harrison goes for a hundo and we're like, why isn't Bland chasing him around?
Yeah.
But Bland's playing the slot, and that's not where he's going to be all the time. Some person 426 is Will Johnson going to get his revenge on BB? I was watching him this morning. First thing that jumped out to me. Zero creeps me out, man. Zero's a weird number, but he doesn't look bad in it. He doesn't look bad in the zero. And Will Johnson I watched about a game and a half this morning of first I wanted to get to know Bam, their running back, and then
Bam Knight.
Yeah, and then Kyler and McBride and Harrison and blah, 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 blah. And then I wanted to see their pass rush a little bit. And then I did watch Will Johnson a little bit. And I got to tell you, he doesn't look bad. My boy doesn't look bad, Brian. He doesn't look bad.
Yeah. The thing about him is the thing, and I had the question about him as a player. I think he's in a perfect situation. They play 71% zone here.
The guy we should have made a bigger deal about his speed was Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just telling you, as a former personnel man, you get a guy who's a cornerback that I have questions about his speed to begin with.
Yeah.
And I don't get a time on him.
Yeah.
It's called doing your due diligence on the player. If, and he's in a perfect situation. They play a lot of cover 4. That's, for those folks out there, man, poor Mina Kimes. My gosh, that coach, that crazy coach from, what was the guy from I forgot the guy. There's this coach that went after this for the guy from the Netflix show where they're yelling at the players all the time.
Oh, Last Chance U or whatever.
Last Chance U.
No, I want to say a couple of things real quick. One, Mina is my queen. I think that she's awesome. And two, you ain't winning if you go at Mina Kimes. I mean, I guess you'll get your name out there. He
went after her and calling her out for her analysis of cover 4. Which he was wrong himself about, because it's the way he was saying the holes are on the outside, and the holes are actually between. There's the way that you play the covers. It's in between the linebackers and the corners and the safeties. That's where the holes are.
Which underneath guy F's up? I'll tell you where.
I mean, you don't. Yeah, it's not like I say that's a deep ball. Yeah, well, Arizona's playing it well. They're not giving up deep ball stuff, but cover 4 is 4 across, 2 corners deep, 2 safeties deep. You got flat players with the linebackers. You got the middle linebacker takes guy, and so there's spaces to throw the ball against cover 4. But he went after Mina Kimes like she. I mean, she was talking about it, and she was giving her opinion, and he was calling her out. I thought it was really, really unfair on his part to be doing that, but he was wrong himself with what he was saying. But anyway, you're going to get a lot of cover 4, and I think they go back to Will Johnson. Like, it's a perfect thing for him. If you're going to play like 70% zone and be that kind of guy, play quarters of the field, it's a good fit. It's a good fit for him. But just personally, if I'm evaluating corners, I have questions about their speed, and I don't get a 40-yard dash time, I mean, absolutely just refusing to run one.
Yeah.
And good for him. If that's, good for him. He found a team that has a really good scheme fit, like I said, and he's playing well. So I don't look at it as a revenge game. It's just, I look at it as, I had my questions about the players. There's others that I like better. I really like Jahdae Barron. I like Jahdae Barron a ton. I like Ravel a ton. You know why? Because I could see them run. I could see how they played. And look at Jahdae
Revel run. Revel's hurt.
Well, I saw him how he played, how he ran. How he ran in, when he played at East Carolina.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's all this is. It's not a hate of Will Johnson. It's just I had questions about Will Johnson playing well.
Well, and I mean, it's also a thing where I think it's probably a little bit unfair, but nobody cares to us. Like if somebody likes a player more than somebody else, and the general public has their starting point from people who aren't us, right? The people who do this year round. And like if you don't have a guy as high as that person did, or as high as if you or I disagree, then when you talk about something for months, it gets viewed as like you're dug in that this guy isn't any good. And it's like, no. Like with Will Johnson, I was saying, yeah, I would be comfortable using a first round pick on him. And you were saying, I wish I could see the speed and I might go other directions. That's not saying a guy sucks, but over months of talking about these guys, people can turn it into that.
You know, right? I have yet to have anybody, and I don't expect it. I really don't. But I know I took a beating about Joey Bosa, that I compared him to Greg Ellis. I said he's kind of a Greg Ellis player.
He's probably had a kind of a Greg Ellis career. He might have had some higher highs a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Greg Ellis was a really good player.
And Greg Ellis was a really good player. And everybody's like, oh, what are you talking about? This guy, Joey, Nick Bosa's really good.
Yeah.
Joey,
he had two or 3 year run of
very solid player. And that's what I was trying to say. I kind of compared him to Greg Ellis. I don't hear that anymore. I don't hear anybody say, whoa, you were, and listen, you do this enough and you put your name out there, which we do. When draft season rolls around, when I start on players on Tuesday, I'm going to start putting my name on these players, and I don't shy away from that. I enjoy because I'm trying to help people educate what I see. I'm not asking you to just totally agree with me on everything I say. I'm just trying to give you an idea, but a lot of people don't take it that way.
No, it's fun. And I love doing it. And right or wrong is going to happen. There's things that I won't know about players because I don't have the same resources. I just have to take other people at their word. Like Dan Brugler will do a great job of the random off the field questions, or what a position coach had to say, or all of these different things. And then you have to figure out, what do you do with that? Right. Where it's like, okay, but I'm watching him play and he can whip these dudes' asses. And it's like, but do these other things that people talk about, will that affect how he plays? Like, there's a lot that goes into it. And I really enjoy talking about it. And when I'm in a good place, people can say whatever they want. And I'm like, that's cool. Have a good day. I'm human. And you'll have days where you're like, God, I'm so tired of hearing this crap from people. Why are people mean to me?
Well, I know. I appreciate somebody giving you money to say, oh, it's just a revenge game.
Yeah. Knights in the super chat.
Thank you. You didn't have to do that, but thank you for doing that. Appreciate
Knights in the super chat as well. Brian, we have a guy on the DLS Cowboys podcast that super chats all the time to say that Dak sucks. And I'm like, thanks for giving us money. Brian, you hinted the Shanahan era draft strategy matched their cap strategy. Does the Cowboys or different departments ? What does he mean by that?
I don't, that's not me. I don't think that's me. Is he talking about Mike Shanahan?
I don't know.
See,
but Mike Shanahan wouldn't have had a salary cap for most of his career, or some of it. God, I'm bad at years though. He coached well.
Boy, I tell you, I'm confused. I'm really sorry. I apologize. I don't know if I've talked about Shanahan draft strategies.
Well, we'll see if he sends another one in to clarify. Tommy,
well, don't pay this time. Can you get an answer without paying again?
Yeah. Just fire in a chat. Okay. Tommy Buster's in the super chat as well. Green Bay's #1 for both Miami edges. Well, you don't be overpaying with my draft picks, and don't go chasing after short-term solutions. Are the Miami edges? Are they long-term?
Chubb? Yeah, no. One of them's not. Chubb's long-term. Phillips is not.
Okay. How's Chubb been? Did you go? Have you watched him?
No, I've actually watched, I watched Quincy Williams, the linebacker from the Jets. He's kind of a will linebacker. I've watched Wilson from Cincinnati, who's a linebacker from their team, kind of like who you got. I've watched Quinnen Williams. He's really good. I watched Jeffrey Simmons. I would absolutely trade for Jeffrey Simmons. And then I've watched Maxx Crosby. And I've watched Phillips, but I haven't watched Chubb.
Okay. Dro Nose is in the super chat. When was Flus ever a good DC? Don't allow him to have any input on draft selections. We have to draft best defensive player available for the next 2 years. Check out, I like this. We're giving me names. Xavier Harris from Ole Miss. I'm gonna check out everybody, and I'm gonna start before Brian. He said he's starting Tuesday. Then I'm gonna start
I would start Monday, but we
Saturday.
got a game. I
I'm gonna
was
start
going to start.
Saturday.
Yeah, I was going to
I'm
start
gonna start
Monday,
Saturday.
but I.
Was Flus? Was it Flus? Was he in Indianapolis when Darius
Oh
Leonard was
yeah,
there?
no, he had some good
Good
defense.
players.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, when you
Sure
got
did.
players, you can be a good DC.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. I'm not doing rants today, but Brian's told you this with fervor before, and it is one of my big things about Jerry Jones. They ain't trying to hire the best coaches, and that sucks. That sucks for us.
Yeah.
They're not interested in let's line up the 10 best candidates and then who has the best plan and who is the best at coaching.
I
this.
think,
Which
yeah,
guy do we vibe with? Which guy's my guy? Eberflus is my guy. Woo, woo, let's go.
I think it's unfortunate that Brian Schottenheimer went in there with the intent of trying to be the offensive coordinator in there instead of he should have went in there with the intent of trying to be the head coach is what he should have done. He should have went in there with
that is the ultimate thing about this team.
Well, he didn't have, no, let me say this. He didn't have a chance to get together a staff.
Right.
He didn't he had an idea of names that he wanted to do, but he didn't have a complete list. Like when Andy Reid interviewed for the Philadelphia job, I remember talking to Andy about it and hey, you got all your coaches lined up? And he's like, yeah, I think I do. And so, you have a list of names. And maybe, the thing with Flus is in the fact that they really liked Flus before. They've done this, they went out of their way on Dan Quinn. They really didn't know Dan Quinn all that well, but they knew Mike Zimmer very, very well, and they knew Flus very well. Yeah. And if you're a new head coach and all of a sudden you're getting the opportunity to have your first gig, and what happens is the general manager recommends, hey, you got a defensive coordinator in mind. Well, no, why don't you talk to Matt Eberflus? Well, okay, now you got a job when you shouldn't have probably had the job. But now you're getting the opportunity like, okay, well, I'll do this one for the opportunity of getting this job.
Yeah.
I'll listen to you. And, it just doesn't seem right. I mean, unfortunately, they've had 3 different defensive coordinators. They had 3 different ways of drafting players. There's Zimmer players here. There's Dan Quinn players here. There's Matt Eberflus players here. That part of it is going to look a little wonky if you want to say something.
And this may be, we'll get to you here in just a sec, Mario. You said, what's the percentage of Tolbert being moved? And maybe this is not realistic. I don't know. But my thought would always be, and this is just Jeff Cavanaugh with a little tiny YouTube page, but my thought would always be, we're going to pick the best players we can every round.
Sure you are.
And then we're going to give them to the coach. And don't get me wrong. If I have a defensive coordinator and I know for a fact he's going to be here for a half decade.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll skew things towards what you would like to do with this team. But for the most part, I'm going to draft the best player, like corner. I almost think the teams who play the most man play what? 40% man?
50% man? Yeah. You get teams.
I'm picking the best corners. We're not going to pretend that we do one thing. Sure, there are teams that run a ton of zone, but there is nobody that's running a ton of man. We're going to get the best players we can. And if in our interview you say my defense has to line up like this and look like this and run these coverages, I'd be like, okay, well, come back when you're a better coach. Come back when you can do whatever you need to do to put the best players out there and get the best results. I don't know. To me, it feels outdated to say, I do this. But what about what the offense is doing to us?
Yeah.
You got to do whatever stops whatever they're doing. Man.
Oh no. It's a problem. I will say this though, and as many problems as Jason Garrett has about me and I have of him, I would have loved to have worked for him in working on the draft because I think he has a really good understanding of players. I think he's got a good eye for that stuff. Coaching wise, that's questionable stuff. But I think for the eye of the talent, I think you have to be very, very mindful of who is telling you what players to pick.
Yeah,
I think that, and I'm not saying that scouts are always right. But I'm saying the scouts go out and live this every day. They go out and they know these players. That's their job. And when you get to a point, and I think this is the problem that Will McClay has, and I think people get critical of Will McClay for this reason. They're like, well, he's a problem. He's picking the players. No, I do, and I'm not defending Will because there's times he absolutely hates me.
I wonder
I'm
if he hates me. I know he sent a really angry text one time about me.
Oh no, he could be. Will is fair. I mean, he's fair. When he gets mad, he gets mad, and when he's, when you say something nice to him, he'll say thank you, appreciate that.
And I may screw up. Like, I'm a broadcaster, and I don't always know everything about what I'm
Oh
saying.
no, I'm the same way.
It was the Jalen Smith draft, and one of the things that he said about him made me go, "Why?" Because it sounded like that he said, we had Jalen Smith as a blinking light in the second round because we put him where the tape puts him on the board.
Right.
And I was like, that's dumb. Put him where you would pick him. And without being able to sit down and ask Will McClay about it, like I may have a misinterpretation of what he said. I don't know. But I remember that I don't believe he liked that. Where I'm
no, I mean, Will could be that way. But I will say this, Will is in a very difficult situation because I believe he's trying to make sure that he doesn't draft somebody or bring somebody in the coaches don't want to coach. And the Joneses have their ideas and the scouts have their ideas. And sometimes, listen, you got to know what battles to fight. And I guarantee you there's some battles that he's fought of players that have been brought in here that he necessarily probably deep down inside didn't believe was the right fit. But because a coach or somebody in his scouting part of the Joneses, somebody said, hey, let's go this route. And, having to make sure that the Joneses, the coaches, and the scouts are all taken care of. I think that's a very, very difficult job. There's no autonomy with that job. It is you are working for three different groups of people there.
And back to Mario's super chat. What's the percentage of Tolbert being moved? I think if you're doing your due diligence as a front office, you're having those conversations, and you can tell me what you think, Brian, but my guess would be what you would get for Tolbert isn't all that impressive.
Well, we've seen pick swaps, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and is that worth it, or would you rather just have him hanging around if somebody gets hurt?
Me personally, I just feel like that Tolbert is a favorite of the quarterback. I know it's not in targets and stuff like that, but I think there's honestly the quarterback would be disappointed if you moved on from Tolbert. See, there's another thing that Will has to deal with, that maybe, you start moving away from guys that, well, the quarterback really likes this guy over this guy, but you keep that other guy around and get rid of this guy. I think Buffalo and Pittsburgh would be two teams that could use a guy like Jalen Tolbert.
Okay, that would be. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I don't need Tolbert on the field. I don't think with this team, and I do think part of the GM's job, whoever the GM is of the Cowboys, I do think part of it is you have to be ruthless.
Oh, yeah.
Like Dak's not going to play worse because he's like, "Hey, what the hell, dude?
He'll be mad at you."
Just like,
he'll be
that's
mad.
What I thought was best.
But see, that's the problem. That's the problem in life. We're just we try and be so nice and try and run things. And I mean, I'm learning this running my own company. There's times when you have to make a difficult decision, and you know what? You just tell your people that, hey, I'm doing this because I believe it's right. Now prove me wrong, but damn, it's my company, and this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm just using that as an example. And I think that in this day and age, we're trying to make everybody so happy, it's everybody's cool. We're all getting along great. Sports suck sometimes, man. You have to make hard decisions. I when I was in Philadelphia, we had 8 scouts, 4 of them quit because they didn't want to work with me. They didn't want to because I was, because they thought I was a bad guy. And I probably am a bad guy when it comes to that stuff.
You're a bad guy.
But I wasn't there to make people happy. I was there to try and pick football players.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
that company that Brian owns is Crown Global Media, by the way. Make sure you're following it on YouTube.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate that.
The man's trying to build a business, and building a business is not easy. Taking risks is not easy. This man works way too damn hard. He does a 5-hour show every day. He does Cowboys.com stuff, and he's trying to grow a company. So make sure that you're taking in the content that he has on Crown Global Media. Okay.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, Brad.
You're welcome. When the question is asked to me, hey, what do you think about Crown Global Media? I always tell people.
Now this is a hot dog bun. I think it's a hot dog too.
It's the hot dog.
Yeah, we're working on that. We're working on that hot dog, man. That hot dog's important.
And you guys can be the bun. All right.
Yeah, just take us along with you. You be the vessel. We'll provide the sizzle for you.
Also follow DLS Sports on
Please
YouTube,
do.
okay? Because I do that show 5 days a week, including pre and post games.
Clarence actually helped me with something yesterday, so I appreciate it. I don't know. Did you guys talk about what Jerry's going to get asked about today, by any chance?
Oh, his stupid Wall Street Journal thing?
Yeah. Did you guys talk about that?
I don't remember if we said it on the air or not, but we did, because he was texting while I was talking about it, and he was like, I just need you guys to know, and we all pass our water containers to him because he's carrying the water for Jerry, where he's like, he thought he was just bantering and didn't think that would be part of the article.
There you go. He did me a favor yesterday. I talked to Clarence Hill yesterday, and I asked him a question. I said, could you please get me a statement from Tad or Jerry about this Wall Street Journal? Because I wanted to know how it was taken. So you guys talked about it. So
Clarence is a beast, bro. Clarence
is good. Clarence is good.
All right, everybody. Have a good day. Happy Halloween. Give the kids candy or whatever.
Be safe. Be safe, folks. Be safe.
Don't drive drunk and stuff.
Yeah, be safe.
If you're doing drunken stuff,
call me for bail.
It's 2025. Uber it. You know, back in the day, what's that Nate whatever guy? He had a great Google Uber Nate whatever. I think it was him. He has a great bit on how he earned his DUIs back in the day. He was like, look, we're stranded. We're stuck. We didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But to everybody out there with costumes on that are doing the costume thing, you're doing a great job. Keep it rolling.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, keep it rolling.
I got whatever could be delivered the next day. Remember,
you're a great kin. Great kin.
You have no idea what anyone's going through.